privilege to call the inaugural United Parents Delegates Assembly to order. Thank you for being here today for this incredibly important year.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Delegate, and I'm a United Parents leader. 364 days ago, on December 13, 2014, we held our founding assembly with nearly 2,000 parents and 300 students to launch United Parents. At that event, we met with city council members, LAUSD school board members, the deputy city attorney, our labor allies, and others to secure their support with our platforms of increasing safe streets, clean streets, job opportunities, and raising the minimum wage. We then met with Mayor Garcetti, 5 Los Angeles City Council members, and Inglewood Mayor James Lutz. And we participated with our friends in labor who led the fight for $15 an hour. We were present at every city and county hearing, testifying about our experience and the need to raise the minimum wage. We've collaborated with public officials to move bus stops closer to our schools to increase student safety, and to add crossing guards and driver feedback signs, to increase gang prevention services, and to dramatically reduce illegal dumping around our schools. We know that the problems our community took a long time to develop and won't be solved overnight. But we're here to learn, to hear from community experts about the issues we are concerned about, so that in the coming year, we can continue making an impact in our communities.
Good morning and welcome. Thank you. My name is Locke, and I am the United Parent leader. Prior to conducting roll call of our schools, we'd like to thank our Greendot ambassadors and organizations supporting and participating with Greendot parents that are here with us today. Many of them are seated with their school delegations. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. We also have 2 tables in the back of our very own Greendot Votes and Chirula, the Coalition for Human Immigration Rights, because we believe no matter where you came from, you belong here. Please visit us those tables before leaving today. We now call a roll of Greendot schools. When I announce your name, please ask the chair of the delegation to say here loudly. Honorable Jackie Robinson. Here. Honorable Jefferson. Honorable Ralph Bunch. Orsay Ahoya Anima. Honorable Ellen Cho. The Henry Clay Learning Complex. Honorable South LA. Honorable Pat Brown. Honorable Inglewood. And yes, Honorable Uniuted. Honorable College Park. Delegate Leroy Locke. Honorable James B. Taylor. Honorable Watts. Honorable Megan Jason. Honorable Westside. Honorable Venice. Thank you. Let's give everyone a round of applause. We will now welcome a number of key partners to work to provide opening remarks. First, we are pleased to welcome the President and CEO of Greendot Public Schools, California, Cristina de Jesus.
Good morning, Greendot. As you mentioned, my name is Cristina de Jesus. I am the President and CEO of Greendot California, and I was the founding principal of IMO Inglewood, where I am. As someone who's worked at Greendot our vision of ensuring that parents are a key part of what we do in our school and within our communities into so much more. Okay, we don't need it. Back and forth. Can you hear me now? All right. It's inspiring to see that our vision of ensuring that parents are an active part of our school communities has developed into so much more. Parent academies, parents leading other parents, parents working in a united fashion to create change within their communities. I want to acknowledge our community leaders who are here today because they believe in the vision our parents have for their communities. Communities that are safer and cleaner. Communities that put the well-being of our children first. Let's give our honored guests a round of applause for answering the charge and joining us in envisioning the better places for our kids to learn, live, and play. Let's give them a round of applause. The unable spirit of overcoming odds and doing whatever it takes is alive and well in this room today. And this event is just a snapshot of the great things that can happen on an ongoing basis in our organization when we partner with parents, students, and community leaders to change the odds for our children. I'm humbled by the symbol of unity and hope that a day like today presents. And I'm inspired by the possibility of a better tomorrow for the children of Los Angeles because of all the people in this room. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. De Jesus. We are now pleased to invite the President and CEO of Greendot Public Schools National, Marco Petruzzi, to speak.
Welcome. My name is Marco Petruzzi. I'm the CEO of Greendot National. A year ago, we stood together at the Convention Center, and as Ms. Castro has said, it has been quite a year. As we proceed for the long haul, work like this will not only improve public education, but also advance the quest for equity and social justice. By coming together on a permanent basis across the vast geography of LA, from Venice to farthest part of East Los Angeles, you are defying the stereotypes of this city that we are divided by city lines, by race, by age, because only together can we reweave the social fabric of this city to increase opportunities for quality education, economic success, safe lives, healthful lives. I'm very excited to announce that our Tennessee network, where we will have 4 schools next year and 2,500 students, is looking to you as a model and will have their first parent organizing institute on February 19th of next year. I look forward to continuing to work with United Parents, and let's have some really interesting guests today talk us through what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Petruzzi. Greendot highly values the contributions of teachers, administrators, and staff. The dedication of our teachers to our students is extraordinary and helps make Greendot the organization that it is. We are proud that Greendot teachers are unionized, and we are very happy to have Angel Maldonado, Vice President of Teachers Union, AMU, here to speak with us today.
Thank you. Good morning, buenos días. My name is Angel Maldonado, and first and foremost, I'm a history teacher here at Locke High School. But I'm also very proud to serve as Greendot's Vice President, as their teachers, I'm proud to serve as the Vice President of Greendot Teachers Union, the Asociación de Maestros Unidos. On behalf of Greendot teachers and counselors, I am excited to see parents, students, teachers, school site staff, and community allies partnering together to not only engage our communities, but to take action and bring about change. When I began organizing work during college at UC Irvine, I saw many of the service workers on my campus face many of the same injustices our communities face now. While their families struggled with unemployment, a lot of the workers on campus struggled with underemployment. They had 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 jobs, none of them paying a living wage, none of them offering any benefits, and none of them allowing them the right to unionize. Asking the university to pay a living wage or give them benefits, or asking them if it was okay for them to unionize did not work. Asking the university for these things did not work for the workers on campus. But what did work was organizing. Organizing work. Through direct action, 62 landscaping workers were successfully unionized and hired directly by the university. This experience showed me that the importance of organizing is the key to change, which led to my role in our teachers union, and which led me here today to support your efforts to strategize for change in our communities. As a teacher, I understand the importance of a healthy community for a healthy school. AMU stands in solidarity with you today as you work to improve and solve the issues happening in our communities, which will strengthen and improve the education our students receive. Adelante, padres.
We truly appreciate the work of Greendot teachers who are preparing our students for college, leadership, and life each and every day. We are also very grateful for the work our classified employees, parent coordinators, office assistants, and campus aides, who are our direct connection to the life of the school. We see them in the office, they help us engage in our students' education, and they keep our kids safe on campus. We are happy to introduce the president of ISEA, our classified union, Damon Johnson.
Good morning, parents. Good morning, Greendot. My name is Damon Johnson, and I'm the president of the Honorable Classified Employees Association. And I'm a public school employee. I'm the CSO for Honorable Pat Brown Charter School. This morning, I want to commend the parents for coming together and organizing. Organizing is the direct path to social and economic justice, which empowers us to be the change that we want to see in our communities. Together, we must climb to the top to improve our quality of life in our communities, but this will be a steep climb, which every parent has already said that they're willing to climb. Together, something's happening in Los Angeles, and it's starting here. It's starting with you, the parents. Because you know in your heart that it's different this time, that your issues are being heard, and they're only being heard because you're organizing together. Last year, together with parents, we worked to raise the minimum wage for Greendot Public Schools classified employees to $15 an hour. We then went to City Hall and the Board of Supervisors to secure a victory for all Los Angeles families to earn $15 an hour by the year 2020. One thing that we know, that people united can never be defeated. And when we come together as a people, we come together to make change in our communities. And I'd like to thank our parent coordinators who work directly with you time and time again to ensure that our parents are getting the services they needed and are organizing our parents. Our CSOs who keep our students safe on a daily basis, our office staff who works hard to keep our accountability, our attendance, to make sure you know when your child has arrived, when they're late, when they're not there. But together, we can work with our elected officials to ensure that we are partners, and together, we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Hello, my name is Vicki Tom, and I've spent my whole life in this community. Our next speaker also has a long history in these neighborhoods. Most recently as Executive Director of Community Coalition, and now as City Council District 8 Representative. As we understand it, he's already using community organizing techniques to ensure our communities get the resources they deserve. Here to discuss his vision for the great 8th District and to discuss ways we can engage with our government to improve the health and safety of our community Please join me in welcoming Council Member Marquise Harris Dawson.
Good morning, Greendot. Good morning, Greendot. The house is packed, and so the room ought to be very loud this morning. Listen, I'm very, very excited to be here this morning. Greendot has been a special part of this community, and Locke High School has been a special part of this community for a long, long time. We were able to do a lot of good work together when I was at Community Coalition, and our hope is that we can do a lot of good work together now that we're in Los Angeles City Council. Is that all right? All right. So a few things. One, I just have to say, because I'm a big music fan and I'm a big fan of Locke, I think the Greendot Locke ought to give some props to your fellow alumni who got the most Grammy nominations this week. The one and only Kendrick Lamar, graduate of Locke High School. You guys should give him some props. Really quickly, before being an elected official, I'm an organizer. And what organizing says is that all of us as individuals, no matter how old we are or young we are, how wealthy we are or how poor we are, or how educated we are or uneducated we are, we all have some power. And when we put that power together, that power multiplies. And when that power multiplies, we have the ability to change things that seem like they can never be changed. Just like you have done and are accomplishing at Greendot here at Locke and all the animal schools, there are a lot of people who said, people in your community, these kids, they can't learn, they can't do well on test scores, they can't go to college, and so we should just forget the whole thing. And the Greendot family got together and said, no, that's not the case. We're going to band together, and we're going to do better, and we're going to have a unionized teacher force, and we're going to pay $15 an hour. We're going to do it all for our people in our community. That's what you've done here at Greendot. And that's what we want to accomplish on the Los Angeles City Council. So just like when I came on this school campus, one of my first jobs as an organizer was to organize students here at Locke way back in like 96. This campus didn't look anything like it looks now. Almost all the bathrooms were closed. There was graffiti around the campus. The football field was half dirt, half grass. Students were everywhere. There wasn't a lot of learning going on in the classrooms, and you all changed that situation. Well, there are also a lot of people who say the streets in South LA will never be clean. There will always be graffiti. There will always be trash in the alleys. There will always be boarded up buildings. There will always be dirty, vacant lots. And I ran for city council because I believe that that is not the case. We can absolutely turn around the way our community looks, the same way you all turned around education here at Locke High School. So we have a campaign that we're asking you all to join into. It's called our Clean Streets campaign. And it's a campaign that's based on putting pressure on the systems that are responsible for keeping our community clean. So everybody who has a smartphone, raise your hand if you don't have a smartphone. All right. Okay, so there's only 3 of us, so everybody else has a smartphone here, right? There's a smartphone, there's an app you can download called My311LA. My311LA. It's free. What you do with this app, when you see a broken sidewalk, or graffiti on a building, or a couch in an alley, or anything that's not supposed to be the way it is in our community, you take a picture of it. This app lets you take a picture of it. You take that picture, you write down what you see and what the problem is, and then it gets sent to City Hall. And at City Hall, we log requests, and responses get done based on the number of requests that we have. Right now, when we started on the City Council, the
district that represents Silver Lake. Anybody been to Silver Lake? You seen Silver Lake? Or Los Feliz? You seen Los Feliz? Those neighborhoods were making way more calls than our community. And if you've been there, you know their community doesn't have as many problems as ours does, right? But people in their community were using the app and they were calling 311 on the telephone. When we started, they were making 15,000 calls per month, and our district was making about 2,000 calls per month. So we've been going around the district, getting people to start making calls and to use the app. Right now, we're up to about 10,000 calls per month. We need to be more calls than they have in Silver Lake and Hollywood and Los Feliz. So we're asking networks, we're asking the Greendot network, and the animal schools, the parents, the students to get involved and to set a goal for 311 calls. I don't want to start a rivalry, Marco, but you know, the KIPP schools and the Alliance schools, they've already committed that they're going to do 5,000 calls and reports each. So I'm not saying that that's what you all need to do, but I just want to let you know that that happened. It is my pledge to you that if we get these calls up, if we get the demand up, and we tell City Hall we are not going to settle for dirty alleys, dirty streets, graffiti, overgrown trees, bulky items all in our streets, we believe that we can turn this around, and it can be the kind of community that you can bring your family from any part of the world or any part of the country and be proud to call South Los Angeles home. And so, will you join me in this effort? Will you join me in this effort? All right, we're going for a big turnout.
Thank you, Council Member. A key component of United Parents platform is living wage jobs and training needed to secure them. An impossible defeat without clean streets. Our families face many obstacles to financial stability, such as wage theft, low wage employment, lack of health care, and an absence of quality jobs. United Parents is a strong advocate for quality living wages, vocational training, and fair working conditions for our parents as well as our students. Professor of Economics Mary Lopez was looking forward to speaking on this topic, but unfortunately, late last evening, she had a family emergency and had to leave the city. We are happy to report, however, that Professor Lopez is committed to working with United Parents for the long term in her 3 areas of expertise: immigration, entrepreneurship, and economic development, and to help United Parents develop strategies to build living wage jobs in our neighborhoods so that we can have an equitable share of the economic growth currently taking place in Southern California. Given her willingness to partner with us, we have our first next step. We will set up a United Parents meeting with her in 2006. I am happy to welcome Jonathan Garson, an alumnus of Alamo Ralph Bunch, to discuss efforts to combat wage theft. Jonathan?
I'm here to talk about a subject that hardly anyone ever talks about, and it's wage theft. If you look at the national media, our presidential candidates, it's something that they don't really address, but it's going on across communities in the United States. And unfortunately, it has an effect on people in our communities like ours. It is a problem that when employees are promised that they are going to work overtime and they're going to get paid an overtime rate, and then when they get their check and they don't get that wage, and then they can't do nothing about it. Why? Because oftentimes they have no voice. They don't, they don't organize just like we are here today. So that's something. That's one of the issues. Also, people are not getting getting paid on time, and other issues pertaining to wage theft. So here to talk to us more about wage theft is Rosalina. Molina, an organizer for the Clean Car Wash campaign, who has done a great deal of work combating wage theft in the Inglewood and Lenox communities, who co-led the minimum wage campaign in Los Angeles, and we asked her to discuss her efforts in ways parents can fight for fair wages.
How's everyone doing today? Good, thank you. Earlier this year, I had the privilege of being the lead organizer on the LA Raise the Wage campaign. And I want to thank all of you in this room who made it possible for 800,000 Angelinos to receive $15 by 2020. And something that not a lot of people have talked about is that we also won protections against wage theft when we passed the minimum wage ordinance. And that's really the reason why I got involved in this fight. So the truth is that 80% of all low-wage workers in Los Angeles County are experiencing some form of wage theft. And many of them file claims and win their claims to get their stolen wages back. But only 13% of anybody that wins a claim in the LA area ever sees a penny of that claim. And that's true for a lot of the car wash workers that I work with. So this is why it was so important for me as an organizer of the Clean Car Wash campaign to make sure that when we do pass an ordinance that allows $15 for minimum wage, that it's actually enforced. Because right now, workers aren't earning $9. So there are 10,000 car wash workers in the Los Angeles County area and 500 car washes. That's a lot, right, folks? 10,000 car wash workers. And the vast majority of them are not getting the wages that they've already earned. So we're right now seeing a daily rate of about $35 for 10 hours of work. That's $3.50 an hour. So these strong wage theft protections are going to make sure that they can earn the 15 when it comes, and that if they don't, there are ways that they can collect that money. And if they're retaliated against, like many of our workers experience, they will be protected by the city. And the county went a step further and established their own agency as well. So now we have these beautiful policies to raise the wage and enforce them in LA City and LA County. But what about workers in Inglewood and Lenox? The workers that I'm working with every day. And I want to share some stories about them. We had a group of workers who came to us about a year and a half ago saying that they were only being paid for 4 of the 10 hours that they worked. They tried to talk to management about it. Management wanted them to sign away their rights, and then they were fired after that. I know that's a really sad story, but because they organized and sought legal remedies, not only did they get their wages back, but that owner went to jail. Okay, that's the power of organizing. And now they're organizing other workers in the Lenox and Inglewood area to have similar policies as LA City. But those policies are going to take a few years, so the real answer to this solution is direct action organizing. I want to end by saying that organizing is the solution in Inglewood and Lenox, and car wash workers haven't given up. And if we can just say, sí se puede, and a yes we can, that would be great. Are we ready? Se puede? So a lot of our workers are also parents, and I want to say that they will stand with you in Inglewood in whatever you do, and thank you for supporting us and for raising the minimum wage for almost 1 million people.
To support more right for economic justice.
One of the other key pieces of the United Parents platform is safe passage to and from school. We continue to work on this issue. Since 2011, our team at Honeyman College Prep Academy at Jordan High School had the privilege of working with Care Outreach and its executive director, Mike Cummings. One of the most dangerous campuses in LA, safety on campus has 3 surrounding it. A great deal of credit goes to Elder Mike Cummings for this. He is here to share with us about his incredible work.
Good morning, parents and students. Good morning. I want you to give yourself a round of applause for making it out this morning. My name is Elder Michael Cummings with We Care Outreach Ministry. We provide the Safe Passage program at Jordan High School. I've been at Jordan High School since 2000. I've been with Greendot Public Schools since 2010. And I just want to say from that point to this point, together we have made Jordan High School Educational Complex one of the safest schools in the country. And I believe that. You said about safe passage. Safe passage, when I first started safe passage over in Jordan High School, we was having 10 to 15 robberies a day. Along with putting designated safe passage workers along the 103rd corridor and around the school, we was able to deal with the issues of kids getting pocket checked, getting beat up, being forced to be in any games, or just somebody just driving by harassing them. We had dropped the crime rate over there 65% when we talk about kids getting harassed going to and from school. And that way with the safe passage program is that when a kid feels safe traveling to school, when he gets to school, he's able to learn without worrying about how he's going to make it back home. Within the last 5 years, 6 years, we got more kids riding skateboards to school. We got more kids riding bicycles to school due to the safe passage program. And we do have designated safe passage workers on campus to make sure that the campus is safe on campus. And we have safe passage workers in the community there. And we also have set up safe havens. Anybody know what safe havens are? Safe havens are, I went to the stores, I went to the markets, the hamburger stands, the cookie shops, churches, and what we did, we put a sign in the window that said safe haven. Where if a kid is traveling home, you were able to run into that store or run into that business and able to get some type of assistance. We have a protocol call, which with the clerk, the people that work in the stores, what they should do, consider the red, yellow, and blue to make sure that if it's something that needs to really be addressed, we want you to dial 911 and call the police. If a kid is hurt, we want you to get to the ambulance and make sure the ambulance come out. If it's just something, they can call the school and call us. And I'm just glad to say that this safe passage program, partnership with Greendot, is really working, amen. And we need parents and volunteers to get on board so we can make it safe for our kids. And thank you very much.
Nearly a year ago, I announced from the United Parents Assembly stage our goal of registering 1,000 voters in the coming academic year. Thus far, 712 students and parents have completed voter registration forms.
My son is not yet 18, but as much as we think of our kids as eternally young, he is now an 11th grader at ODLH. And will soon be old enough to register to vote. One of the values I hope my participation conveys to him is the importance of being civically engaged. But civic engagement is ultimately an action. I'm excited to welcome students who have registered to vote this year.
Good morning, parents and students. My name is PCK Dubak, and I'm a senior at Annie Stockton Lake Charter High School. I represent the 712 students and parents that registered to vote this year. I turned 18 on March 25th, and although I am unable to vote due to my citizenship status, I highly encourage everyone that is able to
you are the voice of many students that are in my position that are unable to vote. So your voice matters.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jesus Martinez, and I'm here from Scottish Church. In my community, voter turnout is extremely low. I know how important voting is, so I will change that. This fall, I registered myself to vote, and when I turn 18 in June, I will vote.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Muhammad. I'm a senior at Watts. Across Los Angeles, there are people who are voiceless and cannot vote. I'll register to vote this fall. I'll register this fall. No, excuse me. Restart. I'm here as a voice. I'm here as a voice for the voices. I registered to vote this fall for my community. I will vote. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Locke, and I'm a senior at Los Angeles. As a student from East Side, I vote, which is why I encourage all of you to vote. I look forward to the future because in the future I want to vote.
Let's give all these kids a big round of applause. Thank you, students and teachers, for your dedication to this effort. Civic engagement requires more than just voting. It is okay, I'm going to start over again. Thank you, students and teachers, for your dedication to this effort. Civic engagement requires more than just voting. It is not something that just happens every 2 years or 4 years. It's about continual action. And that engagement and that action is for everyone, regardless of your race, creed, color, or country of birth. That's what United Parents is all about. Last year was marked by consistent action, and the only way change happens is by continuity and constancy. It means being involved all the time. In addition to Greendot votes, we must continue to be engaged. On the table in front of you is a pen, a pad, and a 2-part survey that you will complete as a delegation. Your chair will first ask for a show of hands of which issues we are discussing today are most important to you. As a group, you will prioritize these issues, all of which we realize are important. Secondly, having secured a victory of raising the minimum wage at $15 an hour, we may have room to take on one more issue. It's been a busy year, but we may. There are 3 issues that we've heard from many parents that are important to the quality of life. By a show of hands, bring the issues in order of priority that you believe should be added to the platform should we have room. The leadership team will tally and discuss the results at upcoming meetings. If you're interested in being part of the leadership team, we encourage your participation. Please speak with your parent coordinator about how to do so. We will give you guys 10 minutes, okay? Thank you.
Undergraduate students help research the details behind the United Parents Agenda. This year, as voter registration, get out the vote efforts mature, we again look to the leadership of the Unruh Institute and its director, Dan Schnurr, for his continued vision and leadership in the field of civic engagement. He works to motivate students to become involved in politics, government, and public service, and teaches popular classes in politics, communication, and leadership. Mr. Schnurr.
Well, I thank you all so much for letting me join you here today. On behalf of the entire Trojan Nation, I want to tell all of you, congratulations, and fight on. So how many young people in this room want to go to college next year or the year after that? Okay, that's a lot. That's not enough, man. How many do you want to go to USC? Right on is right. Anyway, so my name is Dan Schnurr. I run the Institute of Politics at USC. And my full-time job is to get our students more interested, more involved, more motivated to participate in politics, in government, in public service, just like all of you guys are doing. I gotta tell you, I love my job. I got the 3rd best job at USC after a president and a football coach. Anybody here a football fan? Yeah! So then you know that earlier this year I had the 2nd best job at USC. But I'm ready to go back to 3rd. Hey listen, I'll tell you why I'm here today. You're thinking, why am I listening to one more old person talk at us young people, right? Of course you are. So let me tell you what old people think about young people. After every election, they look at the data, they look at the statistics on the paper, on the internet, and what they see is an age group that votes more than anyone else, old people, and an age group that votes less than anyone else, young people. So you know what old people think about young people? They think that you guys don't care. They think that you don't care about politics or about government. They don't think you care about making your community, your city, your state, your world a better place to live. Who thinks those old people are wrong about young people? Okay, that was a little bit tepid. So I want to hear from the young people who do care. Help me send a message to those old people who don't understand how much you care and how committed you are and how hard you're working to make our community, our world a better place to live. Send them a message. Let's hear you. Much better. So everybody all day long, including me, is congratulating you. All the young people and all the, I'll say diplomatically, not quite as young people, for all the work that you've been doing to register so many hundreds of people. I think it's just phenomenal. But in addition to the congratulations, and this is primarily for the high school students. In addition to the congratulations, I want to issue you a challenge. So what you know is that registration is important, but it's only the first step. If all you do is register and stop there, if you just register and then you don't vote, man, that's like studying for a test, studying day after day, night after night after night, and then not showing up to take the test on the day that it's given. And what happens? I know no one of you, I know none of the high school students here now. Maybe you know somebody from a non-Greendot school that answer this. What happens when you study and study for a test and you don't show up for it? You fail. That's exactly right. And so for us, registration is not studying for the test. But passing the test, acing the test, that's going out and voting on election day. So who here is not just going to prepare for the test, but to pass it and ace it? Who's going to ace that test on election day? Some of us might not be able to vote in the next election. We might be old enough, or like my wife, who may come from a different part of the world and might not yet be eligible to vote. But we got a role too. And our roles are pretty simple. Because if you're not quite ready to vote yourself, you can still help other people vote. You can remind your neighbors to vote. You can remind your teachers to vote. You can remind your principals and your coaches and your advisors to vote. Because if you convince 10 people to vote, even if you can't yourself, that's like voting 10 times. 10 votes is pretty good. So listen, I'm going to close up in just a minute because I know you got a lot else going on here today, but I'm talking to you one last thing before I go. I'm going to tell you about a quote I heard years ago. It's one of my favorite quotes from a guy named Steve Jobs. I'm going to ask the Greendot students. Anybody who knows who Steve Jobs is? Who knows who Steve Jobs is? You in the cool bow tie. What's your name? Come on, who's Steve Jobs? Let me get it. He invented Apple. That's right. He invented the iPad and the iPod and the iPhone. And what Steve Jobs used to talk about, what he used to talk about is the importance of putting a dent in the universe. Putting a dent in the universe. And I'll tell you why I like that. Because putting a dent in the universe isn't just making a difference, but it's also a goal that we can all achieve. How many of the students of here have had someone, a parent, a teacher, someone, tell them you can change the world? Who's been told you can change the world? A lot of you. And you know what? Good for you. And a lot, yeah, give them a round of applause. But I'm working for those young people who raised their hands, for those who couldn't quite decide whether or not to raise their hands. I'm going to tell you something. Changing the world is hard. Changing the world is complicated. Because the world's a really, really big place, and just one person changing the world, that's a lot to do. But putting a dent in the universe, picking out one spot, one thing that's wrong and making it better, putting a dent in one little place, that's something every single one of us can do. And you know what happens if every single one of us puts a dent in the universe? If you convince your parents to vote, if you convince your teachers to vote, if you convince your neighbors to vote, if every single one of us as a voter or a helper puts one little dent in the universe on election day, you know what happens then? Then we change the world together. So keep fighting, pick up a crowbar, do some damage, and let's change the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we appreciate and look forward to collaborating with the Unruh Institute in the future.
Thank you. My name is Larry Foundation, Director of Community Engagement for Greendot Public Schools. Welcome, and this has been great to see you all here. Please remember to turn in your school label, your school name, so we know which part of town you're from. The polling sheet that you took during the delegation board time. We need change, and change requires power, and power requires organization. And that's why we're here today, organizing. Our next speaker, the last warning, knows that better than anyone else in the city. Ana Guerrero and I have been friends and colleagues for 20 years. She's aging us. I had that at first, I said 25, and I was like, I particularly that's I'm older than her. I had to really kind of
turn that one back. 25 years, indeed. Anna is the daughter of migrant farm workers, and she began her organizing career at the age of 20 in Sonoma County. She and I worked together at the Industrial Areas Foundation for 8 years. The IAF was the community organization founded by Saul Alinsky in 1940. And those of you who don't know Alinsky, look him up on your phone. With the 311 app, and look up Saul Alinsky, the founder of modern community organizing. Anna joined the staff of then council member Eric Garcetti in 2001 when he was council member in the 13th City Council District, and went with him to the mayoralty when he won that election, and is now the mayor's chief of staff. So it is with both pride and affection that I introduce my friend and colleague, Mayor Garcetti's chief of staff, Anna Godelo.
Good morning. Buenos dias. It's a pleasure for me to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak before you, and thank you to my longtime friend Larry Foundation for that kind introduction. 25 years. It's crazy how long we've known each other. So thank you for your public service. There is also a commissioner for Mayor Garcetti, a commissioner for affordable housing. So we're very proud and honored to have you serving Los Angeles as a commissioner, and very proud of the work that you do with Greendot. I bring greetings from Mayor Garcetti, who's very grateful for the work that you do, United Parents, Greendot students, to not only make sure that we are preparing our young people to be successful adults, but also for the community organizing that you do to make sure our communities are places where all our families can thrive. You have organized in your communities and you have told us that you wanted a higher minimum wage. So we worked together, you and Mayor Garcetti and his staff, and we passed the most progressive minimum wage law in the country. So by 2020, the minimum wage in Los Angeles will be $15 an hour, and it will be linked to CPI, so it will go up from there, and that will lift 600,000 Angelinos out of poverty, thanks to your partnership with us. You told us you wanted to clean our neighborhoods the last time we were together, so we worked together and we created the Mayor's Clean Streets Initiative. And I want to tell you a little bit about this because it's important, because it shows the results that you can see when you get involved. Because we are committed for you to see results. To give you that example, the second week of September, the city of Los Angeles got 1,839 requests for large trash pickup from neighborhoods in South LA. Those requests were made by people just like you, maybe even you. And the city of Los Angeles picked up all 1,839 requests for trash pickup. The third week of September, we got 3,004 requests to pick up large trash. And we followed up and picked up all 3,004 trash items. So thank you for doing your part. We are committed to doing our part, but we need each other. I'm very inspired by what I've seen here today. You have spent your Saturday morning doing your research on the issues and rolling up your sleeves so that you can take action on the issues. I'm inspired because it reminds me of what got me on my path that eventually led me to the Chief of Staff office in Mayor Garcetti's office. 25 years ago, I was a single mother on welfare and food stamps with no marketable job skills. 25 years ago, I was living in a 2-room house with my first child, my parents, and my 4 younger siblings. But I found my way to an adult school program where I learned some basic job skills that allowed me to get a job as a part-time office manager. But more importantly, I found my way to a community organization, just like the one that organized me to be here today. And I got involved in my community, and I learned to focus my leadership skills so that I could make a difference, so that I could make a dent. And here I am today, 25 years later, the chief of staff to the mayor of the 2nd largest city in the United States of America. I've spent the last 25 years of my life organizing for social change, for the kind of social change that gives people like me and communities like mine the opportunity to succeed. I have worked from outside of government, just like you are doing today, to organize communities to build the power they need to challenge government to respond to their needs. I have worked from inside of government to challenge government to be more responsive to less advantaged people and less advantaged communities. Because I know from firsthand experience the power that government has to create opportunity. And if there is one thing I have learned from those 25 years, is that community succeeds when its residents engage with government, and that government succeeds when it engages with communities. I know this from experience, and the research backs me up. Dan Schnurr will back me up on that. Because civic engagement leads to political power, and political power leads to good-paying jobs, access to quality education, to safer neighborhoods, and a quality of life where everyone can thrive. Similarly, government is at its best when it listens, when it collaborates, when it partners with people like you and organizations like yours. Together, we can do bold things like raise the minimum wage. We can ensure that every youth who needs a summer job has one. We can make sure that our communities are safe and that our neighborhoods are places we are proud to live, work, and play. So thank you for getting involved, and I encourage you to stay involved. When you engage in community, like you did today, you will see two things happen. One, you will see positive changes in your community. Two, you will see positive changes in yourself. Because when you get involved, you learn critical leadership skills. You learn to speak in public, you learn how to negotiate, and you learn to get things done. And those are leadership skills that not only benefit your community, more importantly, they benefit you and they benefit your families. Because it's those same leadership skills that will help you get a job, get a promotion, get a raise, start your own business, or succeed in college. And there is no greater gift to yourself or to your families or to your children than to model leadership. So get involved, stay involved, and let's work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank everybody for your time. We are inspired, we are hopeful, but there is a great deal of work to do. We have great ideas, we now have to put them in action. This concludes our event. Let's get to work. You can pick up your children and turn in your translation headsets, and we will be outside for celebratory refreshments from Better For You meals outside.